Very much, Mr. Moderator. Also, special good afternoon to the leader of the People's National Party, future President, Prime Minister of Jamaica. To Isaac Buchanan, next Member of Parliament, who will take, what did you say? Vengeance on my behalf? Respect and honor. To one of the stalwarts of the Caribbean, one of my mentors, a person who have been in the fight for a long time and remain committed to equity as a concept within the world. Ralph Gonzalez, love and honor, St. Vincent, Passy. I see some brethren here from school time. I don't know if I should announce it. But some stalwarts in all different areas of life. I don't want to announce it and load them up because they are arresting people for being on PMP stage. So we have to be careful. See, keep reaching a problem, you know, just because. But my brethren, from 12-year-old till now, respect my brother. And to you, my bonononus from Portland, I will always love East Portland. Never will I forget the effort, the commitment. And while we have the record, I want to give it up when this election is called. I think another Rasta should take that record and go forward. But in truth, I really love you know, and I love how they make me feel welcome and wanted every single time. I came at 4 and Isaac told me to go to a little villa and wait until time he will call me down. And he almost make this thing move from heat to hate because education nearly missed its position. So therefore, I am now here to speak to what you know is my passion, education. It is my passion because it is what I have experienced myself. Remember when I told you that you cannot have people who never experience your life be in charge of your life. It is education that moved me from sharing 2 divan with 6 people to having my house with empty room as guest room. And so I am only speaking to a passion of 1 degree per household because my mother have 11 brothers and sisters. And one one person, my uncle, went to university from my mother's generation. From that one, 38 of my cousins and myself and my sister have a 1st degree, and 11 have a 2nd degree, starting from 1. And so the concept that guides the PMP's education principle is 1 degree per household. That it is our long-term strategy that every household should have a degree. I hear some people seek to ridicule that success, that principle, by saying we should focus on pre-primary and focus on this and focus on that. It automatically assumes a focus on all previous levels because there can be no degree if you're illiterate. So 1 degree assumes that at least 1 literate is in every household. It presumes that 1 primary school achiever is in the household. It assumes that 1 CXC getter, because all of those are precursors to get to 1 degree per household. I see some stalwarts in them say not allow them up and not allow them up. All right, cool. So when we look at that, how do we achieve that in East Portland? And as you know, that was my dream. One of my dreams was to ensure that it is corrected that Nanny don't have an institution named after her in the education sector. You have Paul Bogle, you have Sam Sharp, you have Buster Manty, you have Norman Manley High School, but you don't have a Nanny High School. And therefore, we identified Fellowship, which was once junior high, to be rebranded the Nanny High School in East Portland so that East Portland can recognize the Maroons' contribution. We are going to start by ensuring that at the early childhood level, there are sufficient trained teachers, because the base development of the child's brain happens in the first 5 years. They say 80% of the child's brain function takes place between 0 and 5-year-old. And so it must be the principle and policy of the People's National Party to ensure that that start is a reasonable start for every child in this country. And for those who are not understanding that importance, then why is it that they who are saying we can't afford it contribute so much to their own children getting that preschool and that basic school? So we will be spending on ensuring that the schools that are basic schools have qualified teachers, and also that they have satisfactory infrastructure. Myself and ISAT have a conversation that we might have to go to court, because the Constitution states that is the right of every child to primary and pre-primary education. And if it is that this is only private, that right is being abridged and abrogated. We also then will look at ensuring that there is remedial education for those who aren't doing well at current. One of the problems we have is that you wait till the end of the year, you test the child, you do no fixing of the problem, and send that child to another grade. And it leads to what we have now, that we have 18% of our children getting 5 subjects, including math and English. If this was America, it will never be accepted for 18% getting a GED, the minimum successful graduation from secondary school. And so we are going to implement an intervention system that therefore corrects the failing at 7th grade, at week 1, at week 2, week 3, instead of wait till the end of the year for say, boy, this picnic fail. We will have evening classes facilitated by trained teachers. We will have weekend classes. So let's say a child don't do good at factorization. If you don't intervene in that week, now makes sense to teach him quadratic equation, because quadratic equation is based on factorization. So therefore you must intervene to correct whatever factorization misunderstanding in the afternoons of that week, on the weekend of that week, so that he can graduate into the next week and be competent and capable. We have to do that necessary intervention. So we propose that 2 days a week must be for homework, sending home my 11th grade child with maths work to do at home with a 9th grade dropout parent. What sense does that make? And so he becomes frustrated not understanding this homework. So we will facilitate homework centers for 2 hours in your schools in East Portland. And we are blessed in East Portland with CASE, where we can recruit some of those students to become facilitators of those homework sessions. It means, therefore, that for some reason we have continued to send home children 2:30 when parents don't reach home till 7. And then we wonder why they're being impregnated by adults and recruited by gangs. And so we will move it to 4:30, facilitate that, and help those students from case who are having difficulty to move forward. We're also going to fight to teach and keep our teachers in the schools. Good teachers are now becoming unavailable. Being recruited, as you know, Sir Ralph, by the United States and England with wanton disregard for the realities that we face. So much so that we don't even know when they're leaving until school ready to start. And to this point, we have only mentioned that they're leaving without putting a retention plan for teachers to stay. We have been in full discussion in the party about when we should come with our ideas. Because we know, them not ramp, especially with my one, them not give me a break. Them teeth it all before me say it sometime. But we feel that it must be easier for a teacher to own a home and a vehicle. One of the number one initiators' motives for migration is to own those two assets that they perceive to be so important. And so we will negotiate with the NHT, but also for every 5 years that a teacher remains in the classroom, they will get concession consideration of increasing levels so that they can stay longer and get better vehicle at each time. Yeah, if Andrew said that in a theme speech, we are going to carry this. Make sure you catch it on tape. Is that tape? All right. Yeah. We come again, and we will also go to the embassies to negotiate a strategy of recruitment that allows us to plan better for the absence of teachers. We have situations, even in Portland, where you have some PE teachers teaching maths class because you don't have a maths teacher. That teacher is only there to create discipline, not to teach the subject. So we must have a system that the recruiter should come to a centralized area to say we are interested in ABC, and we then become prepared for the loss of ABC. But to satisfy that migration, we're going to go into the universities and say to those who graduate, we put in a Teach First program. That if you're willing to go in the classroom for the first 2 years after graduation, we will forgive 1% of your student loan. So you're getting some of the best minds of Jamaica, graduating with degrees in economics and actuarial sciences, wouldn't normally go teach maths. But when they sign up for the Teach First program, they come back, some Teachfield picnic bright like morning star. They come back down to Portland before them go into their true careers and take a 2 years and teach first. That's why we say don't put small minds to solve big problems. Because they're not thinking these creative strategies that we have to go forward. We then look at case. And we have a long envisioned that case should transform from a college to a university. And that university should becoming a provider of agricultural skill sets for the entire Caribbean. Whenever Ralph Gonzalez have 2 youth who want to study agriculture, it should compete with St. Augustine. That you send them to case with agriculture research, with the different types of crops that we can implement, with entrepreneurship training, but also to provide sufficient teachers in the area of agriculture that we can move forward. The final part we're willing to separate with before the budget, because there's more, is to also introduce vocational education from 10th grade for the heart program. The pathway that you have for 13th grade should mean a child could choose a vocational pathway and move from 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and 13th grade to have a level 4 in heart to graduate at that level. that person that leave with a level 4 in heart will then be able to go to UTech or any other degree program because he now has conquered the vocational level. What we have is to give them level 2 and then tell them they have to go all the way down to Buff Bay or go all the way up to Mansion Hill. A whole different process and procedure. And when they apply it full, and it full for how long, and when they eventually go, they can't get the certificate, and it becomes crazy. So from the heart funds, we will put a infrastructure within each school for at least 4 vocational offerings. And that will be able to take the child in the day and then to take the adult in the night. If we are able to put in the labs, the vocational labs for welding and for plumbing and for steel work, and we go as far as to landscaping and for culinary arts in the secondary schools, then we can expand Heart's reach to Evelyn schools for adults to use the same labs that our children use in the day. So you now have to take bus now from one place, go all the way, have to find money, give up before he gets what is necessary. And when we therefore go to the airport, I want a Jamaica, I want a East Portland that now asks for farm work yard. You ask for skill work yard. That we have a new program that evolves out of Jamaica, that any country that need these skills, send a request for our skilled individuals to then come up and go look that same life that you're looking, lifting up apple and picking strawberries. And so when the PMP, which have always been the authority on education, that has always had a competitive advantage in education, gets another chance, we will make sure that hunger isn't the determination of performance. I see in the newspaper that says some children will get breakfast. We guarantee 1 meal per child in school. Every young child that goes to a school in Jamaica should be guaranteed at least 1 meal. 5 days per week. That is going to be the change. That is going to be the transition that moves us from 18% to 80%. So the next time you listen to the radio and they say the PMP have no ideas, just send them the video from health, from education, from agriculture, and from tourism. So not only Portland feels the heat, but Jamaica feels the heat as well. Thank you and good afternoon.